Day número tres. Número tres. Day número tres. The third day. Third day in a row, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. So if it's not clear by now, I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. I realized on yesterday's stream, whenever I played a video, it didn't actually show the audio. There's a bunch of weird like kinks and shit that I gotta work on, but uh gotta keep it simple, baby. Whenever you're starting something new, it's so important to just keep it simple, just to get some momentum. And 'cause most importantly, you wanna be rewarding consistency, right? You don't wanna be rewarding trying to be perfect because it doesn't exist. There's no such thing as trying to be or as being perfect. And so whenever you're striving towards that, it's only really gonna overwhelm you, drive up a lot of anxiety, you're not gonna get shit done. Whereas if you just focus on just doing it rather than trying to be perfect and not doing it as often, you focus on doing it, taking action, being consistent, that's where the results are driven. Because over time, over the next couple of weeks, months, whatever, I will be rewarded off of my consistency versus being rewarded off how perfect my stream is set up. Fuck the thumbnails, fuck the titles, fuck this, fuck that, fuck preparation. Just dude, turn the shit on, spend an hour talking to people, and that's it. Like it's literally that simple. And if I do that for a long enough time span, along the ways, I will be exposed to ways to increase that quality. Whether it's the mic, whether it's the fucking video quality, whether it's this or that or whatever, that's to be determined, right? Like I don't have this. My philosophy with anything I do new, if I'm gonna put money into it, I need to be making money from it and using the money from what I'm doing to add to what I'm doing. So, for example, I also with this just started I just started the marketing agency for people who have pressure washing businesses, getting them more leads and stuff. And I haven't spent a dime on it because I haven't made money with it. I literally just started it yesterday. So once I make money from it, then I would go ahead and put some money into it in the sense of ads, different marketing material, maybe a better website, this, that, and the other. There's a lot of ways to put money into it to make it a lot better and get results even faster. But it goes against my business philosophy. Right? You got to make money first, then with the money made, use to invest in the business and grow it from there. And that way there's no risk. You're not losing any money. You're not losing any time. You don't feel like an idiot because you're spending money on something that's not producing. You produce first, then spend money. And also in tandem with that, you get really good at being resourceful. You get really good at making a lot out of nothing because you can't spend money. Like right now, I have thousands of dollars to spend on ads, on cold callers, on this, on that, on that, on this. I could drop $5,000 right now into a bunch of different resources that'll make my business better, but it's pointless. It makes no sense. So I'm forcing myself to make money with it first, and only with money that I made can I use to make it easier to operate the business. And I do that specifically, obviously, to save my money, also to increase my resourcefulness and put me in situations where I have to figure it out with no money. Because if I didn't have money to spend, what the fuck would I do? Right? You always got to be trying to get better every day. And so these are ways that I try to do it. So to circle all the way back, that's why I'm doing the streams like this. It may seem like it's a lot of low effort and I don't really care. Partially true, I guess. However, it just goes against my life and business philosophy to just try to put so much time and effort and money into something that is new. Because then what happens is you look back a week, 2 weeks from now. Let's say I did spend money on stuff. I got this new mic. I got a brand new camera. I put a good background logo. I paid someone to do thumbnails. Let's say I did all that. And then 2, 3 weeks go by. I dropped $1,000 on this new thing and I haven't made a dime from it yet. I'm going to feel pretty goofy. And not only am I going to feel goofy, it's going to spike up a lot of anxiety because you're like, damn, I'm putting money into this thing for nothing. Like that's what it is. That's what it feels like. And so to prevent all that and gain more skills, make money with it before you do anything. Now, I'm not saying that's exactly what I'm going to do with this. This I don't really regard as business per se, at least as of yet. But whenever I'm going into businesses, I make money first, then invest into it. When I started my window washing business, I first the only reason I spent money on before making money was because I only had to spend $100. I spent like $100 on a squeegee and a scrubber, and then I went to go knock doors. And on that same day, I sold a job for $160, and then obviously made $60 profit. But every single dime after that was only money made from the business. When I ended up with 6 different $2,000 tanks and $3,000 equipments setups, I had like 20, 25 grand worth of equipment. That happened all from money from the business. So that's just how I like to go about things. It makes you extremely resourceful. Especially then, like at that time, this was a little over 2 years ago. I didn't necessarily have any business philosophy. I had no idea what I was doing. So I was forced to obviously be resourceful and make money with limited resources. And it gave me better skills, made me more potent intellectually, and it made me stronger, better, wiser, faster, smarter, all the good stuff, right? So you always want to put yourself in a situation where you have to be resourceful. Like put your back against the wall and try to figure it out. Don't just dump money into something just because you can and just say, you know what, fuck it, we'll run with this. Nah, nah. If you can make money with the business before spending money, definitely go that route. Now, obviously, if you have hundreds of millions of dollars or just tens of millions, millions, whatever, and you're in some like kind of venture capitalist type thing, or you're investing into some technology or whatever, there's plenty of businesses that absolutely need a lot of money to work. But that's for people who already have businesses. Those are for people that already have that experience, who've been doing it for years, to know that this money is absolutely going to return with a increase in the dollar amount. Like they know that because of their experience. Whereas you, a dipshit, having no idea what the fuck you're doing, any money you put into something, you have no idea if that's going to return. You don't, because you don't know what you're doing. So this whole streaming thing, it wasn't even supposed to be a stream. I was literally just gonna sit outside, record for an hour on my phone, and do the exact same thing, just talk about a bunch of random shit. But then I realized this is way easier. I don't have to record. I don't have to upload anything. I literally just open the fucking laptop, click go live, and here I am talking. And I can share my screen. I can do this. I connect the mic. It is so much easier than what I was going to do. And again, that goes back to the simplicity, right? Because the simpler it is, the easier it is to be consistent with it going forward. This is so easy for me to do this for the next 300 days in a row. Open up the laptop, sit here for an hour and talk. That's it. That is it. This is the fucking mic I have, right? It takes literally 2 seconds to connect. Put one in the thing, one right here. Boom. Less than 1 minute, I'm up and live and streaming and doing what I need to do. Versus if I had the phone, right? And I'm not saying that it's hard to do with the phone. I'm not saying that at all. But it's just a little bit harder. And if there's an easier way, a path of least resistance to get the same result, do that. Because the goal is focusing on consistency. If I was to go outside, set up my phone, I got to put this on the phone, which will still work. But I also have to have a tripod now. I got to set it up in a certain way to get somewhat decent lighting. I got to make sure there's not a bunch of people walking by. I got to make sure it's not too fucking windy so that the mic actually works well. Then when I'm recording, I have to record for an hour. I have to save a lot of storage on my phone now over the course of time. Once I have that hour clip, now I have to go from there and upload it to YouTube or Google Drive and then YouTube. And anyone who's ever uploaded anything past 10 minutes knows how long that takes. And there's just so much additional friction, which I will still do because I'm not a pussy. But why would I add all this additional friction when I can just take it out, get set up in less than a minute, start talking? As soon as this hour goes up, close laptop, good to go. Go back later today, rewatch it, make sure I don't sound like a complete fucking dipshit. And if I do, fix anything, and that's it. And so you always want to just be as simple as possible to then be as consistent as possible. And every single thing comes from consistency. Over the course of time, you will find a million different ways to improve on something that you're working on, with or without any professional help. I can improve this every single day by just doing it bad, right? As in the setup I have now, looking back at it and just fixing one thing. If I'm just trying to fix one thing a day from what I'm already doing, I'm going to have a lot more fun doing this. Hold on, let me put on a hat because my hair is fucking pissing me off. 1 segundo. Much better. Shit is aggravating. And my camera's flipped, so it's like weird as hell to look at. But boom. I will find one thing to improve on every single day and have a much better experience in doing the actual task of sitting here and talking. It's not going to feel so overwhelming. I'm not going to feel like a complete idiot. And I'll find one thing to improve on every single day. And then after about a month, I've improved 30 different things by doing it, seeing what was bad, and then improving upon that. Versus spending 30 days trying to get it perfect for the first shoot. And then you do the first shoot, and then you have to start that process. Focus on simplicity. Then consistency comes. And along that ride of consistency, you will go ahead and improve slowly but surely. And that's literally how every single great thing that you know has been built, has been created, and has lasted by just doing it without really knowing what's going on and improving upon it by making mistakes. That's simple. I mean, you can apply that to any single thing that you're trying to learn, anything you're trying to start, anything you're trying to incorporate into your life. Make it as simple as possible to start and focus on being consistent. That's it. Everything else comes from there. But anyway, enough yapping. Let's get to the news. Let's do that. Let us get to the news. Also, I am going to finish my tattoo very, very soon. If you see right here, I had a friend who's a learning tattoo artist start the tattoo, which came out pretty good, but it wasn't exactly what I was going for. So then I paid a professional, and then they started this, kind of going around here. This is how it's supposed to really, really look. And I will go on the 26th, which is 10 days from now. And they're essentially going to take this entire design, and then they're just going to go over this, extend it up this way a little bit more, and possibly, maybe, color it in. But we don't know, because tattoos fucking suck. I hate them. They are excruciatingly painful. I cannot stand it. And also, I was looking up like what you should do in preparation for a tattoo. I did the exact opposite of everything you should do. If you look it up, you're supposed to like have a full meal inside of you right before going. I never eat breakfast. I only eat in the afternoon. So I went completely fasted. You're supposed to drink a lot of water. For whatever reason, I usually do drink a lot of water. I think that was probably the only thing I did, but it wasn't as much as I usually. I probably had like a bottle of water from when I got up at like 7, 8 in the morning to like 12, when usually I'm like 2, 3 bottles in at that time. So limited hydration, starved, and you're all supposed to, allegedly, I don't know why, not drink caffeine. And if anyone knows me, I've probably had like 500, 600 milligrams of caffeine by this hour, if not more. So I like did the complete opposite of everything you're supposed to do to reduce the pain. So maybe it was that, but tattoos fucking suck. Like I literally did this in April of this year, 2025. And we're in December and I haven't gotten it finished. Now, it's not because of the pain. I'm extremely busy. I have a lot of shit to do. I travel a lot. I do a lot of different things. So the timing really sucks. Also, I train MMA. So if whenever I do get this tattoo, I'm effectively limited in certain aspects of training because obviously the tattoo's got to heal. Whenever I grapple or do jiu-jitsu, no one can grab this. If I'm sparring or whatever, it's not a good idea to get punched in the arm or whatever. So my training is severely limited, and I kind of hate that I have to do that. So I figure now with the holidays being here, I'll just get it done now. And then I was already going to be taking time off and be a little more laxed towards just going into the next year. So it's a good time, definitely a good time to do it. And yeah, so I'll get this nice and tidied up. It'll look pretty dope. I've got really cool tattoo ideas. You'll see throughout the years, the body will look a lot better. But let's go ahead, share my entire screen. And let's look through a little X here. What are you starting to dislike more as you get older? What's the fastest way a young man can ruin his life? Huh. Surrender his will to a bimbo woman. Pretty good answer. Math races, climate change races, USA races. Man with 14 priors slashing a girl's neck, killing got that white girl not racist. Yeah. This is in reference to the stabbing in Charlotte, North Carolina. That black dude who stabbed the white girl in the neck from behind, and obviously it's a completely fucked up thing, but it really struck home for me because I mean I've lived in Charlotte the past 2 years now. Now technically I don't live in Charlotte, but I'm like 10 minutes away. Last year I lived directly in the city for a year, and I know that exact train station. And it honestly didn't surprise me to know that this happened there because if you go to that train station, I mean, dude, it's overrun with bums, crackheads, retards, all kinds of dumb niggas. Like, there's really no reason to ever take that train, be there in that vicinity for more than 10 minutes. And it sucks because it is like directly by downtown, which is where a lot of cool shit is at typically. But it's a really fucked up train station. And if you look at the county that Charlotte is in, right, Mecklenburg County, of course, it's a fucking blue county. And the reason why that matters is because this guy literally had 14 priors. He's been in and out of the judicial system for years. He's had more than enough opportunity and been presented to enough judges to be in an insane asylum, to be in a jail, to be in a prison for the rest of his life. Yet he's out and free. And the court systems, the judges, they knew he had mental issues. They knew he wasn't all there. Yet they kept releasing him. They kept releasing him. They kept releasing him. And the reason why being in a blue county matters is because blue counties tend to be softer on crime for the sake of all kinds of different bullshit reasons like uh, equality, fucking uh, just being soft on crime because criminals have rights and this, that, and the other, and all kinds of gay explanations that liberals will sit here and explain to you. When in reality, if a guy has 14 priors, clearly there's something wrong with him mentally. Whether you want to label it with a legitimate prescribed like schizophrenia, bipolar, whatever, it doesn't really matter. He's clearly got something wrong in the head because normal, sane people don't have 14 incidents with the law in the sense of like committing actual crimes, right? Whether it's drugs, violence, this, that, the other. Clearly, he's already fucked up. And the fact that he's walking, like, he's not the only one. There's so many guys like himself that are walking the streets currently, now in today's age, all over the world, of course, mostly in these blue counties and cities because there's just soft on crime. And it sucks because now you got to walk through the city with your head on a fucking swivel. Like, you cannot walk through downtown Charlotte peacefully. You cannot walk through there peacefully. You just cannot. You can't. You got to have people with you, number one. And number two, you have to have your head on a swivel because you know that there's guys like that walking around. I remember when I was in like middle school or high school, I'm sure most people have heard of this by now, but it's like on average, you walk by X amount of psychopaths a day. So I have no idea whether or not that's true. But what I do know is true. If you're in a blue county and you're in a highly populated area, you're more than likely walking past more than a handful of criminals daily because of these soft on crime policies. And it really sucks because now, right, the white girl who's really Ukrainian, who's young, I think she was like, what, 21, 22, something like that, got an entire future in front of her. Um, she's just trying to make an honest living, taking the train, going to work, working at a fast food restaurant, and she gets stabbed in the neck mercilessly with no reaction time. She didn't know what to do. If you see the video, she's in complete shock, complete awe. She sits there, bleeds out for about 30 seconds, falls over, bleeds out completely. And then a couple minutes go by, and then finally someone finds her body and realizes what happened. And I saw it like in the video, it's so fast, you don't even know what the fuck happened. And a lot of people on the train caught a lot of slack for like not helping, not reacting. But I mean, if we're being completely realistic, obviously, in hindsight, from the comfort of your home and not being in the heat of the moment, it's so easy to look at those people and be like, yo, these people are evil. They're pieces of shit. Why didn't they help her? But if you try to put yourself in that position, in their shoes, in that moment, and you see how it went down from the video, obviously it's clear as day what the fuck happened. But if you're sitting behind, if you're like 15 seats behind, if you ever took a train or a bus, you mind your fucking business. You don't pay attention to what the fuck's going on. And there was no scream, there was no sound, there was nothing really that happened besides him stabbing her and then walking up. And so in their defense, it's like, how do you know what the fuck's going on? You have no idea what's going on. It was silent. Like, you don't know what's going on. He gets up. Yeah, you see the blood dripping on the floor and stuff. But even then, if you just look up and you see a guy get up and you see something dripping on the floor, you don't immediately know that's blood. You don't know he just stabbed this girl who's completely silent. You don't know what's going on. So in their defense, it's really hard to know what the fuck is going on at all. And they did what they could. Once they realized, obviously, that she was bleeding out and she got fucking stabbed, you could hear them reacting and they start moving. But it's all in all just a really, really sad thing to happen. And I really do believe it's because of soft on crime policies, it's so asinine to me, because soft on crime policy as a phrase in itself just doesn't make sense. Why would you ever be soft on crime? If someone commits a crime, like, they're supposed to be punished for that. Why do jails exist? Why do prisons exist? Why do fines exist? Why do tickets exist? All of these things exist because if you commit a crime, you get punished for it. Like, that's just how it works. That's how humans naturally learn to not do that thing again. It's the same way that if your kid disrespects you and you smack him in the face, he committed a crime, he paid a punishment. Now he knows not to scream in your face anymore. It's very, very simple. It's very basic conditioning for humans that every single human goes through to learn things. And so soft on crime policy as a phrase in itself makes no logical sense. I really do believe that we should absolutely be hard on crime because it's going to disincentivize criminals from being criminals. It's very simple, very, very simple. And you can get into the weeds of, oh, but human rights and, but they should still be treated equally and this, that, and the other. That's all fantastic. That's great. That is fantastic. And I absolutely believe that's the case. Don't do any cruel or unusual punishments. Don't do anything insane, but be hard on the crime. Be hard on the crime. And if you're not going to be hard on the crime, at least actually have an infrastructure within your city to get someone with mental issues the actual help they need. Not giving them to a psychiatrist, not giving them to a therapist to talk their fucking life away. No, have actual institutions that are actually going to help them. Psychiatrists get paid to give you drugs. Therapists get paid to talk to you for as long as possible. That's not helping someone with mental issues that thinks about violence or committing crime or is already doing it. So be hard on crime. And then if not be hard on crime, have the institutions in place to help that person that is committing the crime. And ideally, in a perfect world, have both. Be hard on crime and then also get them the help they need. Because no one gets the help they need. They go into jail, they come out, they do the same dumb shit. The only thing that I've seen, as far as I know, and I'm not like some expert into prisons and like how exactly it works and how effective or not it is, but from what I've seen, just I guess anecdotally, and I pay attention to everything in the world, people really only change out of prison due to religion. I'm going to say that again. People only change coming out of prison for the better because of religion. Everyone knows someone who has a story of going to prison for X amount of time, and then they found God in prison. They found Jesus. They found Muhammad. They found whatever their God was. And then they come out and led a better life. And so what does that tell you? To me, that shows it's not prison itself that helps people. That's the punishment, right? That's like, you do this bad thing, you're stuck here, your freedoms are taken. So that's the punishment. But to actually get them better, I'm not saying that you need religion, but why does religion work? Essentially, diluted down, religion is just a moral code for life, right? A good example is the 10 Commandments within Christianity. It's like 10 things to never do to be a decent person to other people, essentially. Once that person has that moral guide for life, they don't want to commit crime anymore. They have a moral compass now because it's been presented to them in the form of religion. Whereas obviously that person's a criminal because they didn't grow up with that moral code. Whereas people like yourself and me, we're lucky enough to grow up with parents who cared to give us a moral compass and teach us right from wrong. So obviously I never had to get into crime because I had a moral compass. I didn't want to do these things. But if you don't have that, and all you know is violence and bullshit, you're going to continue committing violence and bullshit. And that's why when that prisoner is in prison and they find God, they find Jesus, they find Muhammad, they're like, holy shit, now I know how to actually go through the world morally without being a piece of shit. Let me stop committing these crimes. Let me stop committing violence. Let me stop doing these things. Let me just live right with God. And that's the beauty of religion. That's the power of it. So prison is the punishment itself. Your freedoms are taken. But whether it's pushing more religion into the actual prisoners in there or just giving them some form of moral compass, I really do believe that not only properly punishes the criminal for committing the crime, but also actually help them and not just give them a bunch of drugs from a psychiatrist or waste all their time with a therapist. No, this is how you operate through life. Go ahead and live the best life possible with God, with this moral compass. And I really do think a lot of these incidents would absolutely die down. Absolutely die down. And there's no question that the USA is absolutely the best country ever to exist, ever. But the crime is insane. The crime definitely pales in comparison to other countries in the sense of like we have more crime, which really does suck because I want to be able to walk anywhere, be anywhere, and not have to be worried, right? Essentially, all humans want is freedom financially, spiritually, physically, mentally. We all just want freedom. We've all just roamed the earth for centuries, just walking around trying to be free. And you never get that freedom unless you're taught a moral compass and how to actually live through the world. So I think it'll help a lot. I want to be free walking the streets, not having to worry if that's ever a possibility. I don't know. There's always going to be light without dark. You can't be the greatest country in the world without having a little bit of crime. That's never going to it's never going to work that way. But I think efforts into reducing them would absolutely help. You would have a lot less victims and a lot safer countries and just a better morale overall because people are going to feel safer. Whenever you feel safer, you just live a better life. It's just, if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like one of the bare necessities is safety. You absolutely need safety. If you can't feel safe where you are or what you do with what you're doing or the people around you, it's very hard to live a fulfilling life, a peaceful life, because you're always worried, you're always scared. And that's just no way to live. So we should absolutely make efforts. I think that's my prescription on how we could go about it, how to actually realistically do it, like structurally or functionally within an actual city. That I don't know. I guess I would have to be a mayor or something to see what resources are available, how does it all work, who's stopping it, who are the corrupt players that are actually like enforcing this thing, who's like, there's a lot to figure out in that sense, but it has to be from that lens of like actually punish the perpetrator, don't have someone with 14 priors running around, put them in prison. And then within that prison, don't have them all just fending for their lives. Teach them how to have a moral compass so when they come out, they can live better. That's my prescription. Chuck Schumer is calling on the U.S. to adopt stricter gun laws following Australia's example after the recent attacks. If Australia can find courage to act, Congress should certainly find the will to act. This guy is insane. Why didn't Democrats call for gun bans when Trump was shot? Fantastic question. Absolutely fantastic question. Only bad guys have gun zones. December 15, 1791, the Bill of Rights was ratified, including the Second Amendment, a significant day in U.S. history. Pure retardium. Yeah, I mean, they're all correct. Like, I know there's a lot of shit about this Chuck Schumer guy. Apparently, he's some kind of warmonger or something. I have no idea about the guy. He's some fucking old geezer that is absolutely corrupt and makes money in all kinds of fucked up ways, I'm sure. But this is the thing with liberal retards. Like, a stricter gun law, like what does that even look like? Maybe he explains it in this full soliloquy here, and maybe I need to watch it to fully understand. But like, what does a stricter gun law even look like? Like, I genuinely don't understand. I do believe absolutely that it should be harder to get a gun. I do think, you shouldn't just be 18 and be able to literally walk into a gun or into a gun store with a couple $100 and then walk out with a gun. I think that's a little much. I do think You should be at least 21, and they should do harsh background checks, and it should be a somewhat lengthy process to retrieve a firearm legally. That I think absolutely should exist because obviously there'll be a lot less retards with the guns. There'll be a lot more disqualified people with guns. But then again, that kind of hinges on the Second Amendment, right? Everyone has the right to bear arms. So I guess technically that would be a stricter gun law in like making it harder to get them, which again does impede on the Second Amendment. So I don't know how exactly that would work. But I mean, it's just one of those things. It's such a tricky subject because stricter gun laws don't really do anything. People are still going to have guns. There's still going to be insane retard people with guns, and there's still going to be all kinds of mass shootings and criminal activity, and it's never going to go away. You can't take all the guns that every single American has. That's never going to happen. Really, the focus should be how do we make people mentally more fulfilled? I think every single political problem comes from that. If people are more mentally fulfilled in the sense of they live a decent life, they have a decent income, they live somewhat free, they're not complete slaves, they have agency in their own mind, they can do what they want. To me, that's a fulfilled mind. It doesn't matter how much money you have, how many cars you have, how many houses you have, how many friends you have, how many girls you have. Really, none of that shit matters. But it's just like, can you live how you want, however you want, whenever you want? Yes or no? And majority of people can't do that. And I think that's why everyone, when the problem is when you can't live how you want, you're just not going to be mentally sane in every single regard. You may look fine, you may operate like a normal human, you may get through life normally, but deep down, you're always going to wake up with something in your heart missing, and you're always going to lay your head at the bed with something in your heart missing. And then that's why subconsciously people just they don't they're not pleasant, right? They become bitter. And whenever you become bitter because you can't live how you want, then you start to adopt all these bitter traits, right? Like they say misery loves company, and it's absolutely true. And can you blame someone, right? If you don't live how you want, you're gonna think to yourself like, damn, my life sucks. I have this shitty job. This girl doesn't even respect me. This, that, and the other. My kids don't respect me. I eat bullshit food all the time. Whatever, whatever. Like it's just nothing in their life is fueling their soul to live how they want and achieve their purpose in life. So a lot of these policies, a lot of these conversations, I feel like need to be diluted down to how do we get people more free mentally and within their own life and just have more agency overall, because when they have more agency overall, they're going to be more mentally fulfilled, and they're not going to want to commit crimes. They're not going to want to do this dumb shit. So the gun laws wouldn't even matter if all of your citizens were free and had agency and they felt good and they had good lives. No one would be concerned with killing people. They would actually be concerned with building their community, investing in their community, hunkering down in their community, defending their community. And because that doesn't exist within the population here in America, you have all these crazies that do the crazy shit. And then these conversations come up where it's like, oh, we need stricter gun laws. That doesn't do anything, Mr. Chuck Schumer. It doesn't do anything at all besides make maybe certain companies more money because of new laws or something, whatever. It doesn't actually solve the problem. What actually solves the problem is giving more agency to your citizens, making sure they have the resources they need to live a decent life, and that's it. Every single thing kind of eases itself out from there. You have the conversation with abortion. If people had more agency, more freedom, and were mentally more fulfilled, they're not going to be thinking about killing babies. It's not even going to be a concept. They're going to be like, no, what the fuck? I absolutely want this kid because he's going to live a beautiful life that I am also living. Why do so many people want to kill babies? Oh, the world's evil. I don't want to bring a kid up into this world. I don't have what I need for this, that, this, that. All asinine reasons, but they are justified in their heads, and that's why they want to kill babies. Every single conversation can always boil down to if people had more agency and were more mentally fulfilled, that issue isn't really an issue. It's really not. Jim Carrey says we have a president, Trump, who started out when the country was together, and we had a wonderful leader, and he is tearing us limb from limb, destroying every institution. He's a used car salesman. Um, I mean, dude, I absolutely love Jim Carrey, but you're an actor guy. Like tearing us limb from limb. And it's so funny because like he'll say this, and then this will catch headlines, and then there'll be a bunch of liberals who see this, and then they'll associate Jim Carrey with just because he's known and famous and funny, they'll associate with him with like having a legit position and a legit opinion. And so I'm almost guaranteed if a liberal saw this and I had a conversation with a liberal, they would bring up Jim Carrey. They do it all the time. They're like, oh, but Jennifer Lopez said this, and Cardi B said that, and Jim Carrey even said it. It's like, dude, who the fuck are these people? Besides just obvious, I mean, they have fantastic careers. They do what they do. I'm not shitting on them, but like, what gives them weight to have an opinion on anything at all? How do you know they're not just pushing some kind of agenda themselves? Right? Like me, when I commentate on stuff, like all of my comments come from a frame of like trying to understand the situation, and it comes from questions. Really, I'm not sitting here just saying like this is what needs to happen or like this is what it is. Like he's saying Trump is destroying every institution. Like no, nothing's that definitive, and your opinion doesn't matter at all. At all. The woke mind virus is extremely measurable. Huh. How, how exactly? Mentions of prejudice in academic papers. Huh. Makes sense. Homophobia and homophobic. Racism and racist. Yep. Islamophobia and Islamophobic. I mean, dude, yeah, it's genuinely a virus because you could, I mean, you see after the 80s, everything skyrockets, or like mid 70s. Everything skyrockets. Everything, everything. It's just a trend. It's just a trend. More people say it, more people want to say it, more people believe it. The more they hear it, the more they believe it. It's a virus. It's a virus. It catches a group of people and then it exponentially scales up, as you see here. Scales up, scales up, scales up, scales up, scales up, down. I have no idea what happened here, but I'm sure this scales up also because you hear this shit all the time also. Absolutely a virus. Is this AI? That's got to be AI, right? Ain't no way. Ain't no way not gonna get the fuck out of the office. The most important news in history of COVID tyranny just dropped. The former head of Pfizer's vaccine program, Dr. Michael Yeadon, has revealed to the world total proof that the so-called COVID-19 mRNA vaccine is a deliberate, premeditated sterilization slash depopulation weapon system that has killed over 30 million people worldwide and will continue to create untold devastation for generations. Humanity must now go on the total offense to expose and bring these criminals to justice. And today's a quarter? Ooh, fuck. Gosh. Mm. Yeah, what was that entry, my friend? Take L entry. Literally tried to grab his hands. Got cracked for it. Perfect fucking hook, dude. Perfect counter hook. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that shot, like, he wasn't able to see or something like that. I mean, yeah, unfortunate to see. What the fuck? What the fuck? Why is this a cop just racking niggas? What just happened? Damn, body kick too? What the fuck? Damn. Wait, I missed it. Boom. We just rocked this lady. What did this lady do? Damn, just straight smack your shit. Damn. Oh. I mean, honestly, her fault. Like, she got her chin all out. I don't know what the fuck she's doing. I guess she thought she was gonna like throw her phone or something. Bink. Damn. Sit there, cry about it. Oh, damn. Can't after it. I wonder what the fuck they did to piss her off like that. Cause god damn. Damn, damn, damn. Unintelligent billionaires I've ever met or seen. Yeah, that immediately disqualifies every single thing you could possibly ever say for the rest of time ever. What an absolutely dumb sentence. Elon Musk is one of the most unintelligent billionaires I've ever met or seen. Right, right. Yeah. Your opinion definitely matters. Mm, interesting. Allowed racism against whites only. Finds 90% of hate speech was directed toward white people and men. Yeah, and they don't stop it. That's a very interesting thing. I've heard a lot about this. Like, essentially, racism towards white people is allowed, which is very true. Like, white people have been completely neutered, their balls have been completely cut off. I see it all the time when I knock doors. I typically knock in obviously high wealth neighborhoods, and it predominantly is like it's like 90% predominantly white. I mean, dude, you hear it all the time. Like these white dudes, they are just such cucks. Such cucks. Like they are majority of the time desperately afraid, so terrified to make a decision on whether or not they should clean the windows or pressure wash their house without the wife. They would want to do it. They would admit it's a great deal. We've done a bunch of neighbors in the area. They trust us. They know we can get it done. They don't pay until it's done, but they won't commit unless the wife is brought into it. Right. And sure, you can make an argument if you're in a marriage, you should consult this, that, boom, 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 whatever. But dude, you're the fucking man of the house. You made the money. The wife's living there, using your money, living in your house, more than likely not helping with any of the bills at all. Why the fuck does she have any say in what happens with the house? Why would that matter at all? Because they're fucking cucks. They're terrified of her reaction. They've been married 30, 40 years. She's not going to leave because he cleaned the windows without her fucking consult. Like, that's not going to happen. But they act that way because they know she's gonna yap in his fucking ear. So why is she gonna yap in your ear? Because you're a fucking cuck and can't tell her to shut the fuck up. One. And two, even if she was gonna yap in your ear, why the fuck does it matter? Let her yap, get on with your day. Dick her down later. Like, I really don't get it. And I guess, I mean, I have no idea why this has happened, because if you look at most black relationships, Hispanic relationships, any other ethnicity really, it's a very similar dynamic that's consistent throughout history, which is just the typical gender roles. You know, the man being out there providing, protecting, and then the wife being at home, providing and protecting the kids and making sure everything in the house is good, and that works extremely well. And within that, the man can tell the woman, "Shut the fuck up." The man can make an action within his own agency, regardless of what the woman says. White people, not the same whatsoever. And I'm not saying that's every single black and Hispanic relationship, but most of them are that way. Whereas white people, it's this equality bullshit. It's oh, happy wife, happy life. Fuck no, my friend. You are miserable because of that mantra. You like, how do you not understand by now that you don't keep women happy? It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. You've been married to this lady for how long now? Oh, 30 years. Okay. Have you kept her happy throughout this entire 30 years, every single moment of every single day? That's what the fuck I thought. So why does it matter what she says? And that's why this exists here, where we can be racist towards white people and they would never do anything and no one would ever get on you for it. But if you're racist toward a black person or Hispanic person, oh my God, you're fucking racist. Oh my God, you need to die. Why are you Hispanic phobia? What the fuck? It's really sad. I see it every single day when I knock doors, and it's completely true. I don't really know how it happened. I would imagine, like most things in life, there's like this kind of cyclical arc of the white man kind of predominantly running most of the world, really, um, until the later 80s. I guess you could say like until slavery was abolished, like late 1800s, because then, yeah, black people started having property here and there. They were kind of anomalies, but they did have businesses. They did kind of start integrating into society. So I guess it's just kind of cyclical where they have their arc per se of like being the predominant race, I guess. And they were like in all the infrastructure points, they had a lot of control. And then obviously it started to window down because, you know, it's cyclical. You're going to have your periods in time where you're powerful, and then you're going to have your periods in time where you're not so powerful. I would imagine it has something to do with that. What actually like directly drives it, I'm sure it's a lot of different factors. But I do realize that most things in life are absolutely cyclical, such as, you know, stock markets, crypto markets, same thing. Your emotions, right? That's cyclical. Sometimes you feel happy, sometimes you feel sad, sometimes you feel mad for really no apparent reason. It just kind of cycles throughout the day, throughout your life. So I would imagine it has something to do with that. I'm sure if you look throughout history, you know, maybe Hispanics had their period in time of being the predominant race in the sense of like just controlling infrastructure points in the world and like having things that matter. Black people, possibly, I don't know. Obviously, I'm not a historian, but I would imagine it has something to do with that. Because if you look now, like white people, they're not like they're cucks, man. They're really cucks. Most of them are absolutely cucks. And you can be racist to them with no repercussion. And it's really sad because, I mean, dude, they're just people. We're all just people. Different colors, different faces, different shapes, different ideas, but we're all just people who should all be treated the same. Good timing. White people who beg to be erased. It's just insane to me to see such open treachery by the white man against his race. Simping for women and accommodating invaders. Extinction is coming for a race of betrayers. I don't know about extinction, but yeah, very, very in line with what I just explained. You know, simping for women, happy wife, happy life bullshit. Yeah. Facts. Like, dude, this makes fucking headline news for CNN and goddamn, like, dude. F- Conservative after Trump's Rainer post. Fans exhausted by him. I mean, all the media shit is just so hilarious. It's so ridiculous. Trump just dropped a nuclear bomb on the Democratic Party. White House task force set to release the findings of a year-long investigation that 100% proves that the 2020 election was stolen by the Democrat Party, working with the DOJ, FBI, and Communist Chinese. Huh. It's important to note that last month, Alex Jones was the first to exclusively break the news. The admin is reportedly weeks away from releasing the biggest political bombshell in US history. Interesting. That'll be very interesting. That'd be insane if they could like actually drop some shit with full blown evidence and proof. That would actually be nuts. And I'm actually very curious, like, would that do more good or would that actually do more harm for the US? Because there's two trains of thought that I have thinking of this. And one is like it would be good because the citizens would know obviously it was rigged, he should have won the election. His legacy gets a little bigger stamp of approval because that'll always be brought up like he was robbed in 2020. We know the truth. I mean, most Americans know that governments are corrupt and there's a lot of corruption going on, but this will further reinforce that and, hopefully help with people's voting decisions and policy decisions and all that stuff. So for that reason, it could be good. But then why I think it would be bad is because, well, now the entire world knows that America doesn't have real elections. Now everyone knows that the shit's rigged. Now everyone knows that it's kind of a comical system, right? For lack of a better term, because if you could just steal an election, rig an election, now all of these other company or countries, their eyes open up, their assholes open up wide. They're like, holy shit, we can influence elections the same way the Chinese did. Let's try to do that to make sure we get certain people that we need to get in place so we could have certain things for our country go good. So that's why it'll be bad. Now, knowing or not knowing, but seeing Trump and like how he kind of operates, he's probably absolutely going to drop it. US can absolutely protect itself from all kinds of people, but now it definitely does incentivize other countries to try to do the same thing China did, which, I guess we'll have to take it from there. But, life, you never can get a full blown solution to something without some other possible con. Like there's just no light without dark. There's always going to be good and bad in everything. You just kind of got to outweigh them and see what works for you and, whatever you're trying to accomplish in this world. But that'll be very interesting to look through, see what that looks like. Reclassifying. A lot of people want to see it because it leads to tremendous amounts of research that can't be done unless you reclassify. So we are looking at that very strongly. Interesting. The BBC has just been sued for $10 billion by President Trump for manipulatively editing his January 6th speech to make him sound like an insurrectionist. Wow. They will be paying for Trump's library. Hmm. Yeah, that's fucked. If this is true, this is fucked. The BBC's been so cooked for a long time. But I mean, obviously, a $10 billion lawsuit is crazy. That would be enough, hopefully, to put them out of business. But they lie a lot. You see what they did with Tate. I mean, it's a common theme with them. That's all they do. Saw about this the other day. See, this is why you need to get your fucking money up. And I'm really talking to myself right now. Like, I don't got no fucking money to sit here and say, oh, damn, Mr. Warren Buffett just put a bunch of money into the Japanese yen. Let me go ahead and do that too. Let me take 10, 20 grand. Let me put in some Japanese yen. I can't fucking do that. It's really sad because I see something like this and I'm like, wow, it's powerful information, right? I could set myself up for a better future with this information. I can't act on it though. I can't fucking act on it because I got to get more money. But, obviously we got to ebb and flow. We got to take it day by day. Just get better every day. Everything else flows. That's it. Hmm. Me, Michelle, or Michaela, Michaela Ponce. Ponce works for the low nonprofit healthcare system, most likely as a nurse in California. She is an anti racism activist who decided to post a video of herself chastising and calling a Target employee fucking stupid, accusing her of supporting a racist simply because the staffer was wearing Charlie Kirk's freedom shirt. Ponce could have politely addressed the issue with a store manager, but instead she chose to demonize the employee and shame her on the internet. Please help me return the favor and blast her all over the place. Because someone who works in healthcare, whose role is to support the well-being of people, is doing the opposite. Typical white blonde bitch behavior, doing dumb shit, doing extremely dumb shit as usual. Let's see what's trending. Trending in the US, Gen AI. The AI backlash keeps going stronger. As generative artificial intelligence tools continue to proliferate, pushback against the technology and its negative impacts are stronger. Grok had the highest rate of new users in November. It is leading in new user growth. Grok recorded the highest share of the first-time visitors among major Gen AI tools. What exactly is Gen AI? Is the way a small team with a tiny budget can bring expensive new visions to life, target audience. What is generative AI? Is that like making videos, making pictures, like things that generate stuff? Is that like what it's talking about? I would never understand the desire to use Gen AI for concept art or idea exploration. That's the fun part. That's what I wish my entire job was. If you hate work. Okay, so I'm pretty sure it's that. And I could see the argument, obviously. You want to keep it natural, keep it human like, which is always that case, but it's never like AI is not going to go anywhere. Generative AI is not going anywhere. It's too powerful. It's too incentivizing for companies to keep investing in, keep growing. It's too useful. It makes things more efficient. Like it's not going to go away. Um, it's just not. It's one of those breakthroughs in technology that is just never going to go away. It's like you're telling the guy who discovered electricity to turn it off or not pursue expanding that to every single inch of the entire world because we should only use the natural sunlight. You know, it's kind of silly. You can make a case for it, sure, but it's kind of silly. It's not realistic. That would be my take on this. I mean, just looking at it barely. One thing I do know, like for myself, it is definitely annoying to see. Like I personally, I'm not on social medias at all. I don't have TikTok. I don't have Instagram. I don't look at really anything at all. But it is definitely annoying that when I do come across like maybe a YouTube short, if I'm watching a YouTube video or whatever, yeah, it's definitely annoying how much generative AI there is that exists. Like essentially, it could lead to a point in the internet where like nothing's made by a human without AI. Like everything is going to be AI generated. The post, the video, the captions, the edits, the actual content, the fucking scheduled posting, the hashtags, the replying, like literally everything would be done AI. So essentially the internet would be a fucking AI bot world. That's definitely concerning for sure, but I really don't see how that goes away. Like I guess you can somewhat regulate it, but that comes down to the social media companies, that comes down to governments. Maybe they'll add some kind of features or tools that show like this is made by a human, this was used by AI, maybe that exists already. I don't know. I guess you could make a case for that because, like, for example, if I open up TikTok, TikTok people are perfect. There's gonna be all Gen AI stuff. Look, and I have like, I have an account. Like, I have my account right because I post a lot of door to door stuff. Because I sell a course, I teach people how to get in this business, make thousands of dollars every day. But I don't like scroll TikTok to any like recommend. Maybe that's real, but most of it is Gen AI. AI. Wait, is this it? No, no, this is not AI. So you can't even fucking tell anymore. Maybe it is. I don't even know. I know Zach King does like illusions and stuff, but I literally couldn't tell. Obviously AI. Like, why does that have 20 million views? See, because this now again, I have no context into what goes into preparing a video like this, but I would imagine Zaki, a human, put way more time and effort into this video than whoever the fuck made this video put into this. Similar view. I guess, like, something like that could be problematic. You see a lot of, a lot of the shit, a lot of Gen AI stuff. Um, I like to believe that humans will always prevail. We are absolutely the superior race. We would always figure it out, but, you know. The one thing from Earth that you think would make it better? Delete one thing from Earth that you think would make it better. Just one thing. Hmm. Hmm. I think this is a really good answer. I'm gonna say self-limiting beliefs. And to expand on this, the reason I say self-limiting beliefs is because I do think if everyone in the world was able to take away all of their self-limiting beliefs, because realistically you can do whatever the fuck you want. You could do whatever you want, whenever you want, wherever you want, and no one could really tell you shit. You're your own human. But people don't operate like this. They don't think like this, right? They put these limiting beliefs on themselves, and I'm a victim of it myself. It's kind of programmed into us, where you just like, oh, I can't do that thing because whatever. You make up some whatever reason. Usually, it's yourself telling yourself that limit. If that didn't exist in the entire world and everyone believed they could do whatever the fuck they want and they genuinely believed it and they never entertained any kind of self-limiting beliefs to like de-incentivize them for going after what they wanted, if everyone in the world could do that, there would now essentially be 8 billion free thinkers that are accomplishing or striving towards what they want. But not only that, they believe that they can get what they want. I think that'll lead to a lot of beautiful innovations. I think that'll lead to a lot of beautiful creations, inventions, a lot of revelations, a lot of healing as well. I think that would absolutely make the world a much better place. If I had just one thing to eliminate, self-limiting beliefs. More people need to believe in themselves. And if the entire world believed in themselves, we would live in a much better world. I really do believe that. I really do. People wouldn't be worried about crimes when they believe they can chase their dreams, right? People wouldn't be worried about this girl when they believe that they can get whatever girl they want if they just focus on their dreams. Self-fulfilling beliefs. That would be my answer. But all right, boys, we're coming up on an hour. I'm gonna go. I gotta make some calls, keep myself busy, keep getting that money in. But I'll definitely be back here tomorrow, and we'll improve and we'll make it better. I love y'all, boys. Peace.